Hello people, this is me Profar and welcome back to another Sengoku Basara Utage video. As tradition with every coverage of Sengoku Basara main entry, it is time we take a look deeper into the combat aspect of this particular game. In the previous retrospective videos of Sengoku Basara 3 and Sengoku Basara 3 Utage, we have discussed briefly on how combat works. The game feels like a huge leap in gameplay from Sengoku Basara to Heroes, as Capcom gave more depth in its main combat mechanics. The change is relatively simple. You can now do more special attacks with different button commands other than just one button. This simple change, however, allows more room for different combos. For this video, I will also be comparing the combat between Sengoku Basara 3 Utage and Samurai Warriors 3. Just like the previous discussion videos, this is not to say which gameplay is better, even though we already know the answer to that. This is mostly going to be about showing how Capcom's approach is different from Koei's. Sengoku Basara 3 Utage is still a fan favorite entry of the series, mainly due to its really good gameplay of a musou-style hack and slash. So, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the series as well, let's take a look at the masterful musou combat of Sengoku Basara 3 Utage. Let us start the discussion by observing the other side. In Samurai Warriors 3, Koei and Omega Force maintained the combat mechanics from its predecessor. Every character has normal attacks, charge attacks, and special attacks. The game also kept the 3 different moveset types among the roster. Let's recap those moveset types, and I'm going to use the Wii Pro controller as the layout. The normal type has up to 12 normal attack inputs and is given single input charge attacks for C1 to C9. The charge type only has up to 8 normal attack inputs, but there are 3 input charge attacks for C1 to C4 and a single input charge attack for C5. The special type is very similar to the charge type, except you only have 2 input charge attacks for C1 to C4. This type also has 3 input special attacks for R to Y and R to X. There is one major change in this game compared to the previous one. For normal and charge type characters, they now only have 1 special attack with the R button. These characters can no longer do the R to Y and R to X inputs, as they are specific only for special type characters. As you have already known by now, despite having different movesets, every character has a similar playstyle. Characters are still patternized in Samurai Warriors 3. We are all familiar with how Koei Musou combat works at this point. YX is a launcher, YYX is a stunner, and YYYX is an all-rounder. It's the standard combat mechanics we all know and love. I've gone on record to say that I like what Koei and Omega Force did with the combat for Samurai Warriors 2, and I do appreciate they kept it for Samurai Warriors 3. However, this also shows that the gameplay style doesn't really change much. Not to say this is a negative aspect, by the way. The gameplay style, however, has severely changed from Sengoku Basara 2 to Sengoku Basara 3. As the series evolved to a new generation of console, Capcom wanted the gameplay to resemble that of Devil May Cry, but in a musou-style environment. What makes the Devil May Cry series stand out as a hack-and-slash game is the highly stylized combat. Every weapon that Dante wields has different moves and showcases the cool factor when beating up enemies on screen. Most importantly, the way Dante wields his weapons also show his personality as a character really well. This applied to other characters as well in the series. The Devil May Cry series are also very technical when it comes to combat. The game enticed players to perform combos during fights. Players must also perform a variety of moves to increase the combo rank instead of spamming the same moves over and over again. This means that to get the better rank, players need to master the playstyle of different characters and different weapons. The technical aspect of the combat system was carried over to Sengoku Basara 3. Unlike Samurai Warriors 3, this game's combo system is not a fixed end. You do not have combos that are only strings of normal attacks or normal to charge attacks. Sengoku Basara 3 Utage's combat system, on the other hand, is very open-end. As I said in the opening of this video, Sengoku Basara 3 Utage allows you to perform special attacks with different button commands. You have 6 different special attack buttons: Hold Y, X, Motion X, R, L and X, and ZR. The ZR special is the only special attack that is interchangeable on the preparation menu screen. It is important to highlight that most of these special attacks are cancelable, which means that they can be chained with another attack to extend the combo. This is unlike in Samurai Warriors 3. In that game, combos end when you perform a charge attack with the X button. Special attacks in the Sengoku Basara games are somewhat similar to how they work in fighting games. Take Street Fighter for example, a game also made by Capcom. Special attacks varied from character to character. They can be projectiles, grapples, rapid attacks, and others. It is what makes characters distinguish from one to another. Everyone in Street Fighter does not share the same pattern of playstyle as well. This is also how Capcom approached characters in Sengoku Basara. An additional mechanic that Capcom gave to enhance the depth of combat is aerial special attacks. Some characters, not all, have the ability to perform special attacks in mid-air. The best example of such character is Fumakotaro. Almost all of his special attacks can be performed in the air. It makes sense honestly considering the type of character he is. To demonstrate how masterful the combat system of Sengoku Basara Utage is, here are some examples of combos you can perform in the game. Considering Capcom applied the technical aspect of Devil May Cry, Sengoku Basara 3 Utage also has a similar combo ranking style of Devil May Cry. To get the better combo rank, you must connect enemies with variety of different attacks instead of just spamming the same attacks again and again. The highest combo rank is Super Fever, and it is the equivalent of Smoking Six style in Devil May Cry 4. A quick reminder that just like in Samurai Warriors 3, characters can do their super attacks with the A button. Instead of the Musou attack, the game calls it the Basara attack. Unlike Musou attacks, however, the Basara attacks are not repeated attacks that ends with a big finisher.
Let's finish this! Lend me your strength! That should do it!
You are outmatched. Witness my strength. Fear the dragon. This alone. Is clear. Let's go. this.
Yeah, I like that.
Allow me to enlighten you. Fated to die. Such finish.
Be gone.
The Sengoku Drive made a return from the previous game, but with a slight alteration. You can now select between two types of Sengoku Drive. The first drive is called Hero Time. To activate this drive, you need to fill in the green bar on the left side of your health bar. Once it is filled, you press the ZL button and it slows down time. This is usually my preferred drive because you can crank up the combo counter like crazy. The second drive is called Sengoku Boost. This is the drive that was carried from Sengoku Basara 2. Instead of filling up the drive bar, you need to reach 100 KOs to activate it. Once it is up, press the ZL button to enter Frenzy mode. Since we talk a lot about offensive mechanics, let's talk about defensive mechanics. The ability to parry makes a return from Sengoku Basara 2. To parry an attack, you simply need to press the block button, which is the L button, at the right time the enemy connects. Parrying can work on any attack, including a Basara attack. This game also introduced the clash mechanic. In games like Samurai Warriors 3, if your player and an enemy general connect an attack at the same time, you will be held in a deadlock. During a deadlock, you must mash the Y button to win it. Sengoku Basara 3 Utage applied something similar, but instead of a deadlock, you constantly clash your weapon against an enemy boss. You have to mash the Y button to win the clash. There is one more additional mechanic that I forgot to mention in the retrospective videos. Sengoku Basara 3 introduced sprinting. Characters can now sprint by double tapping the left analog stick. This became a standard mechanic as the series progressed. The combat is one of the best aspects of Sengoku Basara 3 Utage. It shows a lot of style from an aesthetic standpoint and a lot of depth from a technical standpoint. It is also what made Capcom's Sengoku Basara stand out from the more simplistic combat system of Koei Samurai Warriors. Hence, Sengoku Basara 3 Utage shows how a relatively straightforward musou-style game can have the most masterful of gameplay. Like the previous games, characters are assigned to specific elements. There are 6 elements: lightning, fire, ice, wind, light, and darkness. These elements maintained the same properties. However, some were nerfed and some were buffed. Let's recap on what effect each element brings to the combat. The lightning element enables you to shock enemies with energy orbs as you connect an attack. This element can also extend your damage range. The fire element enables you to burn enemies as you land an attack. Burned enemies will have their health gradually depleted until the fire runs out. The ice element enables you to freeze enemies. This is the element that was nerfed in the game. In Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, you can stun lock enemies with every hit you connect, making this the most broken element in the game. In Sengoku Basara 3 Utage, however, enemies can still be stun locked, but not with every hit. The wind element enables you to suck enemies with your attacks. This is the element that was buffed in the game, though not to a major extent. Some special attacks with the wind element can suck enemies greatly and also extend your combo count greatly. The light element enables you to break enemies' guard easier. This element also makes your weapons glow like light sticks. The darkness element enables you to absorb a small amount of health from enemies when they are killed. This is also an element that was somewhat nerfed. You don't earn as much as health than you do in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes. Besides elements, the item system returned from the previous game. Unlike in Sengoku Basara to Heroes, however, items are not assigned to characters. In this game, items are assigned to weapons. This is somewhat similar to the weapon inscription system in Warriors Orgy 3, but you use items instead to enhance your weapons. Similar to the previous game, Sengoku Basara 3 Utage has character-unique items. These items are purchasable in the shop. Effects of these items can only be activated if you put them in any weapon of their respective characters. So, if you have Masamune's unique item, for example, it doesn't work when you put it in any of Yukimura's weapon. If you want to see what effects every item in the game does, you can check this website right here. I leave the link in the description below. Attributes such as elements and items enhance the combat aspect of the game, as well as giving every character their own personality. In my opinion, this game overall does better with character attributes than the previous main entry. I have said multiple times on stream that Sengoku Basara 3 Utage, in my opinion, has the best visual presentation in the series. I like how everything feels lively, for the lack of better terms. The menu screen, the character selection screen, the 3D map of Japan in unification mode, the unique narration style for different characters in story mode are all visually pleasing. This also applies to battlefield designs. Battlefields in this game are not only aesthetically good looking, but they also structure differently compared to the previous entries. One major gripe that I usually heard when it comes to Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes is how battles are very linear, unlike most Koei Warriors games. In Sengoku Basara 3 Utage, battles are designed somewhat resemble Koei Warriors games, albeit not as large. What I really like about battlefield design in Sengoku Basara, including this game, they are designed for specific characters as bosses. Every battlefield reflects on the character's personality. For example, Kawanakajima Tundra is a snow stage that reflects Uesugi Kenshin as an ice swordsman. Mikatagahara is a canyon stage that has the same colors as Tokugawa Ieyasu, the boss of that stage. Oshu is a stage with a big dragon statue at the end as you fight Date Masamune, the dragon of Oshu. Once again, Capcom's focus in the series has always been about the characters. They wanted players to be immersed in the game through the highly expressive characters. This game applied the base system in Battlefield similar to that of Dynasty and Samurai Warriors games. In most battles, you need to take all the enemy bases to progress through until you fight the boss. To take a base or a region, you simply need to defeat the base captain standing on top of a platform. Once you defeat him, the base explodes as you have taken it. Pretty over the top for a base capture, but that's what Sengoku Basara is all about. There are battles in unification mode with treasure bearers. In these battles, whenever you take a base, it triggers a bonus roulette. There are 3 colors on the roulette. The gold color gives you more gold, the blue color gives you maximum power-ups, and the purple color gives you bombs falling from the sky. Continuing the trend of big boss fights from the previous games, some battlefields have machine enemies as sub-bosses. Here are some examples. In the Osaka Winter Battle, you fight the Death Carriage at the middle of the field. This sub-boss is definitely a nod to Geryon from Devil May Cry 3. In the Battle of Nakatomigawa Fortress, you fight the Rising Sun twice. The first fight is at the entry of the fortress, and the second fight is right before you fight Chosokabe Motochika. In the Siege of Hasedo Castle, you fight the Drillotron as a sub-boss. This sub-boss can only be fought by either accessing the secret route or failing the main objective of the battle. Speaking of objectives, every battlefield has 2 objectives in which players can choose to complete. The first objective is the main objective, and it is shown in front of the screen right after the first cutscene has been played. The second objective is the hidden objective, where if you complete it, the battle will shift towards your favor. Completing both objectives will earn you better rewards such as stronger weapons and hidden items. Let me give you an example. In the Battle of Ueda Castle against the Sanada army, the main objective is to take all the bases, perform the flood attack, and ambush Yukimura from behind. However, there is a hidden objective that involves Sarutobi Sasuke. When Sasuke appears and summons his shadow clones, you can take the base on the west side of his location. Taking this base will activate the flood attack on Sasuke's location, thus washing away his shadow clones. I really love how they designed battles in this game. Not only does Capcom bring more liveliness to battlefields, but they improve the quality of the gameplay aspect as well. So that's it for today's discussion, people. A deeper look at Sengoku Basara 3 Utage's gameplay. With this video, we have discussed all the important aspects of Sengoku Basara 3 and Sengoku Basara 3 Utage. The third entry was truly a step up in gameplay, and it was a good move by Capcom to bring the series into a new generation console. The next entry of the series marks the debut of Sengoku Basara in the 8th generation console. This is definitely a game that I would love to discuss in detail. However, that would be a video for another time. Sengoku Basara 3 Utage is considered by many as the best game in the series, and I can definitely see that. Its refined combat mechanics, rich content, and beautiful visual presentation are more than enough to convince that to fans of the series. Capcom was able to show that a musou-style game that is often considered as mindless button masher can bring a level of depth in its gameplay. I have one final message before I end this video. July 2025 marks the 20th anniversary of Sengoku Basara. This is a video I made not only to talk about this specific game, but also to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary. I really hope that what we do in this channel enables us to preserve the Sengoku Basara series. I hope as well that Capcom would have something for the anniversary, at the very least, a re-release on Steam. I want the Sengoku Basara games to not only be preserved, but to bring in new gamers as well, especially within the Musou community. So, what are your thoughts on the combat of Sengoku Basara 3 Utage? Let me know in the comment section below. With that being said, this is me, Profar. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give me a thumbs down. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, join the Profar Mokuri Hunter X Discord server. I will see you guys in the next video.